This is Radiant Voices Media.
Welcome to the Paths We Take podcast. I'm your host, Jordan DeSange. Let's hit a path.
Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of The Paths We Take. In today's episode, I am joined by guest Ben Lewis, a remedial massage therapist, business owner, and co-founder of Form First Studio here in Adelaide. In this conversation, Ben shares the pivotal life moment that forced him to rethink what he really wanted from his career, from his health, and his future, and how that shift ultimately led him towards both massage therapy and building a performance-focused training space. We dive into what it actually is like to open a gym, run a business, the lessons he's learned about leadership, about building a team around you, and how his work as a therapist shapes the way he approaches movement, recovery, and longevity. We also talk about when massage can genuinely improve athletic performance, when it's overused, and how everyday athletes can better look after their bodies so that they can train consistently for the long haul. This episode is packed with insights for anyone interested in performance, recovery, business, or simply building a life that aligns with what really matters. Without further ado, let's get into this conversation and let's get into this path. Sweet. Well, thanks, Ben, for coming on the mic. Spending your Sunday here after a big night means a lot.
You're welcome. Excited.
Yeah. No, Ben, the first question that I like to ask everybody on the show is the listener right now listening, if they had an autobiography and it was your autobiography out in front of them, what do you think that they would find? What are some key moments you think that the listener would find in that story?
That is a great question. I think that they would find a lot of trying to learn to be in the present as much as possible without thinking too much in the retrospect, obviously mostly in a negative way, and especially looking into the future, fearing that. That's quite a typical fear for a lot of people. So I think that's one thing that they'd find in there. Definitely along the sports lines, very sporty, growing up all throughout. Soccer was a big one, but dipped my feet in plenty of ponds in terms of sports. So, cricket, footy, all that type of stuff as well. Yeah, I think also, a big one, which is super obvious, a couple of years ago, I lost my mother to cancer. So that whole journey for however long she was sort of battling that and being with family and all navigating that situation was, just a game changer for me. Like you could ask anybody that knew me before and after, night and day. Probably not in terms of how nice I was to people, but more so in terms of how I saw life. How I saw life and how I attacked certain things and how my work ethic changed and I guess leading into what I said earlier about how I see the present now and don't worry so much about the past and the future. There's all these silver linings with that whole situation. So that was probably the biggest defining moment for me that would be in the autobiography, and obviously just all those life lessons along the way, making mistakes, taking on the chin, moving on, learning from them, all that cliche stuff. Yeah. It's all, it's all there for a reason. It's cliche for a reason. So, I'd say that's probably the one that really sticks out to me.
Okay. That silver lining, was it more so like, did it give you perspective, do you think? Or what do you mean by it shifted things?
Oh, I feel like silver linings is such a funny thing. There were so many with that situation. So bringing the family all closer together and the importance of family to me was already really important, but then it just like skyrocketed from that situation. And then, just taking life by the horns and molding it the way you want to mold it. And like I figured out that, I worked for people for a lot of my younger life. and a lot of people can do that, and that's great. I just got to the point where I was like, this is probably not for me. I'm probably not for them. I want to put myself in a position where I can work for myself. And getting into massage, like sports massage and personal training and stuff like that, it gives you a really good opportunity to build your own brand and get yourself out there. And then, lo and behold, we opened a gym and did all that type of stuff. And now I'm in the fortunate position to be able to work for myself. And that's one of the silver linings from mum, is the inheritance and stuff like that. And that's the truth. And using that to propel myself, and evading the guilt that some people might feel using money to do those types of things. So silver linings in that sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's obviously terrible things that happen, but out of that, it's what you make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the path, that change of path from, being an employee, for example, to wanting to restructure things, where do you think that came from? Have you always felt that, you were made for more? Was it something that, you just maybe not were happy in that situation? Like, because I think everybody has a different reasoning for that path, right? I think it's common, but it's not common. People realizing that, that's not for them, and working for yourself is, for you. But how do you think you got to that position?
Yeah, I think always growing up early 20s, I'm 28 now, I was coasting, just to be honest, just completely coasting.
Like a lot of us, I think.
Exactly. Just, yeah, just sort of taking things as they came, and, probably on the lazier end of things, just chilling a bit. And sort of like my body has always been sort of important to me growing up, doing athletics and things like that, or sports, and weight fluctuating, body image fluctuating, all these different things happening. And then it's kind of like I knew I was capable of more, but never had the drive to do so. And I wouldn't say seeing mum get sick or anything changed that. I think my drive started to just come from myself before that all happened, and then that all happened, and then it just sort of kept going. And I've surrounded myself with some great people, like my business partner, for example, Sam. Being around people like him who are driven, around money and family and all these different types of things has been, it's a game changer who you surround yourself with as well. So, yeah, I'd say that's probably, that's sort of the path that I took. And then you sort of get a kick in the bum when, I guess what mum said to me, she was just like, you get one crack at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You get one go at it. Just, go for it, pretty much. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about supplements that actually earn a spot in my routine. Not hype, just results. I love the Tropica matcha because I love clean energy without the crash. But also I like how this matcha is smooth, it's not bitter, and I genuinely look forward to having it every day. There's also the pineapple creatine. Creatine isn't just for muscle performance, you guys. There is more research coming out about how it supports mental clarity, mood, etc., etc. If you train, think, move, breathe, you should be taking creatine, in my opinion. At nighttime, I also love their beauty custard. It legit tastes like dessert and supports recovery while I sleep. It is collagen, so it's great for the skin, the hair, joints, longevity. Both men and women, everybody should be taking collagen. You guys can use my code JORDSDAY10 at checkout to save yourself some money. That's JORDZDAY10 at checkout. JORDSDAY10. Thank you, everybody. Where do you think your motivation comes from? And did that shift through this key pivotal moment? Was your motivation different your early 20s to now, do you think? Or have you always been a motivated person? What does motivation mean to you?
Ooh, haven't always been a motivated person. I used to be pretty happy doing nothing. But I think that, you get to a certain point when you're growing up and you're like, all right, I'm going to have to fend for myself now a bit, like moving out of home. And I only moved out of home quite recently, probably almost a year and a half ago or so. I think my motivation, a lot of it comes from what has happened to me, you know, with all that situation with mum. But even before that, you just like, life is very precious. I've read a book recently that sort of explained how lucky we are to be here in a scientific sense and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm going to be a blip at some stage, so I may as well just, you know, you may as well just suck, you know, suck all the life as much out of it as you can. You know what I mean? So
because I think it's it's a very interesting topic because I think a lot of people go through the motions, right? And even when you are in your early 20s, I don't know what the difference between males and females are, but I reckon males in particular are the ones that go through that motion a little bit more.
I think you're
I
right.
think in your early 20s, but at the same time, I think too, you know, when we speak of employee versus, you know, wanting to chase something different, like I think comfort is also something that we always chase. And sometimes when we're in a position, we get comfortable and it feels good. And it might not 100% bring true happiness to us, but it beats being uncomfortable and going for the uncomfortable, which in the long run might be a little bit more better for us and, you know, our drive and everything. But I think it's a very hard thing because also there's, you know, we have a fear of failure. We have the fear of like losing it all or like all of this. Like, I understand some people have responsibilities and this and that, but like, I do think that that is a very interesting topic because we have, you know, we all I think are driven people in some way or another, but like sometimes things just get a bit comfortable and like we lose that drive, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even throughout our early 20s, really. Now, when we go to this next chapter, this next path, where did things start shifting when it comes to, did you start massage first? Did you start the gym first? Where did that all kind of come to play?
Yeah, I think that like when I realized that I was coasting comfortable, happy with that type of stuff, and I started to become motivated by wanting to feel fulfilled, motivated by wanting to get to the end of the road and be like, okay, I gave it a crack and not look back and all that type of stuff. So I was like, all right, it's time to like start getting to it. So uni, I tried. Started accounting when I was maybe 20, 21, hated it. Lasted half a year, gone. Yeah, never heard of me ever again. And then worked full time for a little bit. And then I was always with soccer in a massage room doing that type of stuff. Was always interested in physiotherapy and other professions along that allied health umbrella. But I just didn't know if I had the drive and commitment to go to uni. I know I have the brains for it, sure. That's what 5% of going to university. You know, similar to a marathon, we can all have the physical attributes, but it's about the mental game, right? So, it was that. So I gave massage a go, which was TAFE, which was a year and a half. That was a struggle, major struggle, probably at the start and in the middle when I was really trying to find my feet. Mum was battling the stuff there in the middle of that as well, so that was quite tough having to manage everything. And then, it took me 2 years. So I, had a semester where I was in and out, wasn't showing up, that type of thing. Got it done, which my lecturers were surprised. And got that done. So massage was done first. I started working March 2024 as a massage therapist, so pretty recent. And I just loved it. I loved being on my feet. I loved being in like a comfortable uniform, you know, human interaction every day, new people every day, being able to use my brain every day to figure out what someone might need, because a lot of people come in and they don't know what they need. And I have to sort of take the lead for them. Got into massage, really enjoyed it. I still work at the same physio clinic because I just like working there. It's a really great place to learn. So I'm still there now, 4 days a week, just shorter hours and stuff like that. Did all my PD, got into dry needling, just really wanted to like go for it with massage and make myself more valuable, not only for my own monetary growth, but also to be able to have answers for people and feel confident in my treatments. And then I met up with Sam to do some personal training in June 2024. We did once a week, all that type of stuff. And then probably around July, he told me he was thinking about opening a gym for himself. And then somewhere in there, he was like, oh, maybe you'll come and do some massage out of the gym because that'd be a really cool thing. And then I probably weaseled my way in and said, how about I have a slice of the pie as well? Because I just had the inheritance from mum. So I could obviously help out in that facet. But I was kind of like, why not? Let's just do it, see what happens. And yeah, that's sort of how that progressed. And September 2024, we opened the gym. It happened like
Just
that.
like that.
So quick.
What do you think you learned about yourself going through, you saying that, it was a year and a half, it took you 2 years, but you still got through it. You still finished the course. What did that teach you, do you think?
Oh, great question again. So much about about resilience and that really taught me that brains are like, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It like honestly does not matter. It's about how you need to show up day after day to get the workload done and go to class and ask questions and find ways to try your hardest to find ways to enjoy the day that's about to come up. So that's really helped with massage as well. There are some days where I wake up and I've got 8 massages ready to go and 8 hours, sometimes 6 back to back. And it's just like, that's a daunting thing on my calendar sometimes. I've learnt to actively be able to switch my mentality for the day, like reflect on how I'm feeling in that moment in the morning. Like, all right, I've got to actually find a way to enjoy this, like really buy into the client, listen to them properly, really figure out and just buy into it instead of coast through it. Because I feel like massage, physio, all that type of stuff, it's quite easy to get a couple of years in and then be like, bloody hell, this just feels like a slog now. And, it gets to a stage where you probably can't find that enjoyment anymore. And you need to then maybe think about doing something different, doing a different side of that job or completely changing. But yeah, I think that's sort of what helps me get through.
Because I think it's like going through TAFE, going through uni, going through that avenue is becoming, funny enough, less common. Like some people, unless you are in a profession where you need to, a massage therapist or me, a physiotherapist, like you can't do that without having that certification, right? But I think a lot of people are not choosing that avenue anymore. And I think the one thing that uni does teach you are the things that you mentioned, resilience, showing up, the importance of, it's not always about your brains. It's about, I was never the smartest in uni, definitely, even throughout physio. I never tested like on the practical exams, I always did phenomenal, but then on the other exams, I wasn't, not as good because like I just wasn't the type of person that sat down and like focused on every little like thing in the textbook or whatever. But practically I was quite all right. So like I think it teaches you a lot. And like for physio, like I was in uni for 7 years and like I just think back and I'm like, never again, because like I quite hated the experience, but you have that end goal and you kind of have to push through sometimes. When it comes to the early days, what did it take behind the scenes to start something like a gym? What was your guys' thought process? Because I think like now too, I have this conversation quite frequently. Like there's gyms popping up everywhere, right? Like what do you think your guys' idea was back in those early days? Because I'm sure that idea has changed even like throughout now, the gym being open. What was the idea back then, and where do you think that kind of got you to opening day?
Yeah, I think the idea at the start of this was quite broad because we obviously didn't have time to really sit down and have a year to plan things. I think that we just tried to think about if we were at any point of our fitness journey, where would we want to go to work out? Like, what environment do we want to be in to go and work out? And most people say, like, you say, you just want to do this for the people or that type of thing. And I think we're trying really hard to remember that at every stage of progression that we do. So I think we thought, okay, people generally, when they're starting out, they want to work in an environment that is quieter, clean, private, respectful, comfortable. So, okay, let's maybe cap memberships because the space is a bit smaller and we don't want 5:30 p.m. on Monday to Friday to be a zoo. So let's cap the memberships because it's a smaller space and we want it to be quiet. So we started with that. And then we were like, there's 100 trillion class gyms in Adelaide at the moment and all around Australia. You've got the Yard, you've got V2, you've got all these guys that, run the market already pretty much. That's great. Let's leave them to that. Let's stay out of that market. Then you've got, your Daramits, your Zaps, your Anytimes, Revo. They've got, these small priced, great gyms, like really well fitted out gyms for really small membership prices, and they just rotate through numbers and numbers. And we're like, all right, that market, no good. Don't want to get into that because there's no to me, you go into those gyms, there's no
Substance,
there's
think.
nothing.
Yeah.
There's no substance. It's somewhere that you just don't want to go, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to also be somewhere that PTs want to come and work because PT can be a tough one. You can turn into people's therapists. It's like this whole thing where you're waking up early and you're working late into the evening, and we want people to be able to come in no matter who you are at any stage and feel comfortable and want to be there. So, and we wanted a bit of humanity about the place. So I think the fact that we, aren't going to just build 100 trillion gyms and turn it into, something like that, that's not really our idea at this stage.
Right.
But like you said, at every couple of months, things change. We catch up every week and discuss new ideas, and we're just sort of doing it like that.
Yeah.
We're just learning on the go. This is a very stepping stone place for us. We're now in the market and starting to look for place number 2. So yeah.
Cool. Because I think that's a very common story that people in your position that have been on the podcast that have opened up something have mentioned. It's, just launch and then refine from there. Like sometimes there's no need to spend, like you were saying, a year, or there's not an opportunity to spend a year to plan. And is that going to get you any more forwards or ahead than if you just opened up and, refined from there? I don't think so. Unless you're like, I don't know, opening up something specific, like, if you're opening up retail or whatever, like, it's a bit different, but I think something like this, it sounds like, you guys have opened, you've refined along the way, and it just works, right? And I think that's a key thing. Like, things don't need to be perfect, like, just for you to open or just for you to start, really. Were there any hiccups or any key pivotal moments throughout that opening process that came up that you guys didn't realize, oh shoot, this is actually something that's like, that we have to kind of get over, or something like that?
Yeah, 100%. I think one of the big ones was council approval. The place before us was a gym. It was quite, I guess, underdone, and there's a lot that we had to do. We had to do a lot of painting and a lot of plastering and all this different type of stuff just to make it look a bit more presentable in that sense. And then we are in a hub of businesses.
Okay.
So there's different, like there's a security firm, there's an app development firm, there's all these different places. So I think getting the council approval and not being able to truly open our doors properly until that was all done was really tough, because you have to get approval from everyone around us. Gyms don't have the best reputation. It's quite a quiet business spot, and we're like going to have this roller door open with people with their shirts off potentially, and
coming in and out, and
coming in and out, and like taking up parks and all that type of stuff. And so that was probably one of the more notable things that we went through. Besides that, honestly, it's just the little things that you can't plan for. You need to leave room for breakage, so to speak, like for things to go wrong, and you need to prepare that there are going to be hurdles, and give yourself grace periods. The council guy said this will take 2 weeks. Right, let's assume it's going to take 2 months. That type of stuff.
How was the first 6 months? What maybe came up for the first 6 months, or what was the plan for the first 6 months? Like from opening day, the first 6 months, how did that work out for you guys?
The first 6 months now was an absolute blur.
Okay.
An absolute blur. It was just like late nights, early mornings, lots of phone calls, lots of emails. I think, it was great. It was such an amazing experience. It really shows you what you're capable of. Especially with someone by your side. It was a lot of the layout. That was a big one for us, figuring out the layout. And thankfully, Sam has been. This is all his. This gym idea was his baby. This is something he'd been thinking about for a while. I sort of coattailed with him on this, and then just gave my 5 cents wherever it was necessary. Doing the layout was tough, moving all the gym equipment for it, ourselves. We broke a few dollies trying to do that, those little trolley things. So figuring all that out, and then it's, things like bringing on personal trainers, and then how are we going to market ourselves, because we're tucked away. You would have no idea we're there. And that's what everyone says when they come in. It's like, how are we going to market ourselves? Trying not to overthink that. So, all right, cool. A-frame, put it on South Road, put it on West Leverton Road. Let people see that we're here. And then it's like, okay, social media, we need to try and be as consistent as possible in this first 6 months, which we found really, really tough to do, because then I had my own business, he had his own business, and we're trying to grow those as well and do all that type of stuff. And then it's making sure that everything runs smooth enough so that the PTs want to stay here. And it's just figuring out our processes in that first 6 months. So it was really very day by day, and then having short-term, medium-term, long-term goals to hit, much similar to your own fitness plan, that type of thing, having these goals that you want to hit and resolutions for the year and stuff.
What is your, not tip, but when you hear somebody talk about, I don't have enough time to do this, I don't have enough time to go to the gym, I don't have enough time to do, X, Y, and Z. What are your thoughts about that? Because it sounds like in those first 6 months, you guys didn't have enough time to do everything really, but you still got what you needed to get done. I assume you were still at the physio clinic as well. You're still working as a massage therapist, like you were saying, doing Instagram, whatever, you're doing it all basically. So I think it's very easy for us to think, we don't have enough time, but also it is in a sense. So what thoughts come to your mind when somebody says, I don't have enough time?
I think, your own time, again, is sort of what you make it. Your own time is yours, and I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect balance. I think it's time is what you're prioritizing. So I wouldn't say, and that's something I've been learning. I'm still only 28. It's something I've been learning since I started this, is saying things I don't have time for this. It's no, I don't like I don't prioritize this right now. It doesn't mean I don't have time for it. I'm just giving that time to something else that is more of a priority. So that's probably what I'd say is like you need to realize that you're prioritizing something else, and maybe that someone doesn't beat themselves up over it, or doesn't use it as like, oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. Like we do. We have time. Like, at that time I was building a relationship with my current partner, opening a gym, building my own business, working at the other place, like you said, playing soccer, social life. I'm a very social person, and family as well at that time, because that was the same year that mum passed. So that was all still happening. So I think that, you do. Like you do have time. You really do. And for instance, like my business partner, he was just recently, like he just had a baby. He's, we're in this process of the business. He's got his own thing. He's social as well. And it's more about finding harmony with different things, like sacrificing one thing at that point in time to maybe work more in your career. So it's, about sacrifices as well. And
No, I think that's a very good answer, because like you were saying, like we all prioritize at certain parts of our life something different, right? And that's okay. I think it's okay, or it's okay to not feel bad about that, as long as you're communicating it to, whoever's important to you as well. But I think like it's hard because we all have the same 24/7, but we don't at the same time. It's just what you prioritize and what's important to you in that aspect. But all right, I want to talk to you about sunglasses made for runners by runners. That's why I wear Your Run sunglasses. Lightweight, zero bounce, and they stay locked in even when you are sweating through speed sessions, long runs, out in the sun, whatever it might be. They are stylish enough for daily wear, durable enough for race day, and just the perfect combo. Honestly, I love brands that get the sport, get the grind, and support the running community, not just the podium finishers. If you're serious about your run gear and want shades that perform as hard as you, go check out Your Run. Use my code Jordan10 to save some money and get yourself some stylish sunnies that actually perform and look good. Run smart, stay protected, look good doing it with Your Run sunnies. All right, team, quick shout out to today's sponsor, because they've genuinely been a game changer for me personally, and that is Foods. So here's the thing, no matter what your goals are, fat loss, muscle building, training for something big, or honestly just trying to survive a busy week, Foods has meals that actually taste amazing. And I'm not talking about those sad frozen meals that taste like fake ingredients and disappoint you every single time. These meals taste fresh, they taste real, and they don't feel like you're on a meal plan at all. I literally look forward to them. But the real reason that I'm obsessed personally is time. My time is everything, and saving literally 3 to 5 hours a week from grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning the kitchen, that honestly is priceless to me. Those hours go back into my training, they go back into this podcast, into the other podcasts that I produce, and just my sanity as well. So, if you've been thinking about giving pre made meals a go, or you just want to make your life so much easier, use my link in the show notes and you'll get a free box of meals to try out. Seriously, try it. If you're anything like me, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. When it comes to then after those first 6 months, actually, I want to stick to like the trainers, because I think that's an important part of your gym is the trainers and the team that you've built. Um, what were your guys' thought processes with team building and the type of people that you wanted to get around you? Like what was that like? Because I think two trainers can make or break, as well. And everybody brings in something different as well to the team, and everybody, especially in PT world, everybody has a different specialty or a different way of doing things, and I think that can be tricky, but also that can be amazing because like every trainer, I think like everybody needs a certain trainer, if you know what I mean, right? So what was your thought process with that?
Yeah, so luckily, Sam was working at a gym beforehand, and most of those trainers were already there, and they'd already known each other for a long time. So we brought a lot of them across because that gym closed, and then we brought them on because that seemed to work really well. They all have their own business, and they're all self-driven, which we were like, hang on, that's a perfect storm of people to be around because it's all just, you just bounce off of each other and you bounce ideas off of each other and you connect and, you do all that type of stuff. Now we've brought in a couple of other trainers as well that have fit perfectly into the mold. And while they're not all employees or anything like that, we still want them to feel like they belong. You know what I mean? They're part of the Form First family. Like we have a group chat and we call it Form First Legends or whatever it might be. And just to make sure that, we really care about them and we love them and all that type of stuff, and still doing, staff parties and staff Christmas and, making sure that that's all paid for because what they bring us is totally invaluable. Like they, so far, rock up every day with just a great attitude and the atmosphere we've created at this gym is something that Sam and I are both so proud of. Not only proud of ourselves, but proud of the trainers that have, and that helps bring members in. That helps keep people there. It helps get our name out. It's all that type of stuff. So I think that when you, like you said, one or two trainers can make or break it. And we sort of tried to take that in the most positive way possible by saying, yep, cool, get like one or two trainers that have this great energy and you just can't help but have the same energy around them. And then you start to figure out where, maybe you'll start to figure out trainers where their energies are maybe going one way or the other, and maybe we're not the fit for them, they're not the fit for us. And, we truly hope that never has to happen, but it happens. So yeah, I think that's our sort of outlook.
What was the massage like? So, because I know you work out of the gym as well. Where was that going behind the scenes, or how was that developing?
Yeah, so a lot of that was massaging the trainers. Okay. That was how I sort of started. I was like, if you work out of Form First, it's like a 10% ongoing or $10 ongoing discount so that they know that I am good at my job so that they have the experience to then be like, I have had a massage from Ben. It's a game changer. You need to go up there. So I started off with doing like, if you refer your client in, I'll give them 3 sessions cheaper, whatever it might be, or 1 free session, whatever. It doesn't cost me anything to give away a free session. It just costs me tiredness, So that's how I sort of started that. And then jumping on social media, doing some proper branding, and, getting on a booking site, making it seem relatively professional. And then a lot of it was word of mouth to start off with, still kind of is, to where I've built my list to today, and just sort of trickling along like that, and just sort of believing in myself and having confidence in myself and my treatments. It's the same with any sort of allied professional. I was talking to someone recently. It's like, again, you can have all the skills in the world, but you need the confidence when you're treating someone. Like, you'd know this as a physio, you need to believe in what you're doing and what you're telling people. So that, and then that client has a partner. They have a dad, a mum, whatever it might be, and then they come in, they've got a friend. So that's sort of how it's gone so far. I don't have a website. I have an Instagram page. I've got like 160 followers. It's nothing crazy. I'm relatively inconsistent on that so far. So that's how it's built up so far. Now I'm currently in the process of rebranding. I kind of look like a chiropractor at the moment. Okay. And it's just something I picked. It's not the fault of the people who branded for me whatsoever. I picked it. So I'm rebranding now to make it a bit more me, a bit more of a personable brand. I'm different. I'm not super serious or anything like that. So rebranding now. I'm going to get a website now. Google reviews has been a big one, making sure that I get people who enjoyed the treatment to review me and or regulars and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
Where is the gym at now? How long have you guys been open for? Year and a half. Okay. What are some pivotal moments that you think have occurred over the last year and a half?
I think just us learning how to make it as profitable as possible for ourselves whilst not losing sight of the humanity in it, because I think that's what sells it the most. I think the atmosphere of the place is the most important thing to us and to how we're going to grow. So it's in a great place now. We're fortunate enough now to be able to start paying ourselves wages, which is great. So I think I wouldn't say that there is any one particular moment. Yeah. I think that would be great if there was like this one, eureka epiphany that we had. So easy, yeah. But now thinking back on it, it's just the consistency at which Sam and I communicate. It's just the communication between the two of us, I think, has been so important because he's relentless with this type of stuff. Like I said, it's his baby. So he's always coming up with these great ideas. Yeah. He's always on Facebook Marketplace looking for new equipment. Yeah. He's always got these great ideas, been in the gym, been around the gym for ages. And it's great to have me around as well, just to provide a bit more of like a consumer point of view and a recovery point of view, and the fact that we have me there upstairs as like an on-site recovery has been really good for the gym clients. So yeah, I think that has what's really propelled us is how much we've communicated with each other. Yeah, and I guess like we haven't had any, to this date, fingers crossed, we haven't had any points where we've completely disagreed on anything, and like it's just the open communication. That's the answer I've got.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I think that's important, especially if you have two people in an area, like, because you hear stories of people that have only gone through ventures with others and then people who refuse to because they've had bad experiences, right? I think it is what you make it a lot of the times, but that's a common theme that's come up. The people that haven't liked working with others, I think there is that lack of communication, unfortunately, sometimes, which I think is like any relationship in life. When it comes to, let's say, when it comes to the year and a half of opening the gym, like you mentioned confidence in, let's say, as a practitioner, you need to be confident in your treatment and what you're putting out there. What has this journey taught you about confidence, do you think? And what does confidence mean to you now?
Confidence in a healthy dose means almost everything to me in not only my professional life, but just in anything. Like confidence it's just contagious. Like if I, let's say, for instance, in a massage, if I am confident throughout and I come out of that massage thinking I could have done better as a therapist, I could have done this, I could have done that, but I have shown my client the confidence that was a good treatment. Yeah. There is so much value in placebo for the first couple of days. Just my whole thing is just to get people moving. That's that's my job. I can't fix anything with just manual therapy. So yeah, I think confidence in that setting is super important. And then in any other setting as well, confidence when you're driving, it can get as simple as that, I feel like. So to me, it's really, really important that I'm able to be a confident person. And just like I like being around confident people, I feel safer, I feel comfortable, I relax. You know, if you're around someone who's obviously stressed or whatever it might be, you're just kind of on edge. So I think it's something that I don't think about too much, but when you pose the question to me, it's kind of like, it's kind of everything to me.
Yeah. And it is intertwined, whether you think about it or not, I think, especially as a therapist. It sounds like when you two opened this thing and, yourself, it was, let's get this done. And there wasn't much other thought about that. Is that the true, do you think that's the true representation? Or in the back of your mind, did you guys have, because we talked about briefly, like, sometimes people don't want to start something because of the fear of starting something new or being uncomfortable. Was that in the back of your mind ever? Or because I think too, like some people are like, no, we just leave that and like look forwards, but other people do have those attributes sometimes when they start something. Was there a fear at all, or what was that experience like for you?
When we were just starting out, looking forward, was there a fear? I don't think so.
Okay.
Looking back, I don't think we really feared anything. I think that, we obviously had a realistic expectation, rather than any fear. We were kind of like, we just knew that we just needed to do it. We just needed to go for it. And we just needed, again, to do it with confidence, to just believe in ourselves, believe in what we're doing. Don't second guess yourself too much. And that's just, the great thing about Sam and I's dynamic is we were mates first as well. And we already sort of knew each other and had that respect for each other, that now we're able to communicate properly and bounce those ideas back and forth. So I think we had the confidence in each other to be like, if I need to pick up the slack for a little bit, I can do that. Sam just had a baby, and if he needs to, he will. It's that type of dynamic, which is really great. So I think, having each other there just made it. I'm sure if I did it by myself, yes, there would have been some fear, and probably the same on the other hand with Sam. But I'd say that's probably what stopped us from crumbling.
Well, that's a good way to go into something, I think, too. Like, especially, like, I think, too, like, pressure is something that we put on ourselves a lot as well. And let's be honest, I think, like, nobody these days is going to be starting something and it's going to be Nike overnight, or it's going to be like, like this overnight success. Like usually overnight successes are like 6 years of like work or whatever it might be. Right. And I think that unfortunately is why maybe some people don't start, or where that fear comes from is, oh, well, what if I fail? Or what if like I don't become Nike overnight or whatever? But like, it's not going to be like that. Like, I don't even know the history of those big companies, but I'm sure for them it wasn't like that either, Like we just think of this massive, and we like compare ourselves to those things, and it's like, well, unfortunately, like it's probably not going to be like that, And I think if you just forget that, then it's a good way to go into a situation.
Exactly. And a lot of those success stories are failed stories from the past. Like I think Revo posted something quite recently for one of their anniversaries. And it was one of their first gyms that they'd opened, and there was like a message they sent out to say, oh, sorry, we have to close, blah, blah, blah. And now look at them. They're absolutely smashing it. I love what they've done. Their gyms are great. It's all fantastic. And so, a lot of it is, you just don't know. Well, we've actually, you guys are new. You're super successful. We've been open for 10 years, and like you would have had no idea, like you said. And it just, can take one thing and that would be great for us, and that's actually, funnily enough, like a big reason why we started a podcast. Between the both of us was like, look, it's great for content, for social media, great for clips. And if somehow, some way it takes off, then it does. If it doesn't, cool. we're still having fun doing it.
But it's good that you brought that up because, like, I think too, when you are in a situation like you two are, where you're working with other people, it's important, like, because I think too, the gym can be a scary place for some people, like to step into, and it can be intimidating. A lot of people, I've heard stories of people, parking up in the car park and like going home right after because they've talked themselves. Like it is a very daunting place for a lot of people, and I can completely understand why. But I think like that's the thing about maybe starting with a PT or starting with maybe in a position like somebody who has heard your podcast and feels like they know, somebody in the gym a little bit more. Like I think that's a great thing because a podcast is longer form, so you actually get to know people a little bit more. But B, like I think it takes away that fear aspect a lot of the time because yeah, gyms can be scary these days, really. So I think that's like a great thing that you've started, really. But what I'm interested now is to speak a little bit about massage, maybe, and when somebody is looking for treatment, because I think like you hit something key. A lot of people come in and they don't know what they need or what they want. And I think it is broad. So I'm gonna try and narrow it down a little bit. But like, let's say you have like an athlete, for example, whether it be an endurance athlete or just somebody that is using their body 7 days a week, really. What do you think massage can do for that athlete that, they can't do for themselves? Because I think also these days there's recovery centers opening. You can buy like massage guns. You can buy I don't even know what they're called, but like the air compression leg things. There's plenty brands out there, but like, there's all of that kind of stuff out there. But I think like everything has its purpose. What do you think the purpose of massage is?
I think that I find a lot of value in massage being able to calm the nervous system a bit. It kind of switches the brain off a bit for people where they get that immediate pain relief because I have calmed everything down a little bit just from that physical pressure and that type of thing. So I think that's a big one. I think another thing is that no matter how hard your spiky ball is, no one on planet Earth, I don't reckon, can one, be accurate enough, or two, press hard enough on themselves, like to the point or for long enough. Like sure, they could do it for maybe 5 seconds, but if you really want some muscle to melt away a little bit, you need to be sticking on that for like a minute to a minute and a half. So probably, to be honest, probably those are the things that really popped up to me when you asked me that question was the nervous system being a bit more relaxed and just the fact that like, you can't tickle yourself or you can't scratch your own back, that type of thing. So having someone do it for you, like I know a place in Nord called Stretch Lab where, no one likes stretching. You know what I mean? It's really tough to get into that habit. So having someone else do it for you,
Why not? Yeah.
people pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And like we all like convenience these days, right? Like I think too, if you are paying for it, but you are booking an appointment, like you at least know that you are getting that recovery, whereas I admit myself as a long distance runner, I do not stretch, I don't foam roll or anything because I'd rather just like spend my time for 60 minutes, at an appointment or whatever. And I know I'm not going to do it at home. So, like, I think for a lot of people, it works in that regard as well. We all like to save time. And I think we all think we're busier than we are, but, that's another conversation. So, like, I think like for a lot of people, that might be a good solution as well for recovery because, yeah, it's easier just to I think book the appointment and get the work done.
And I think I really help set people up for success in terms of if people have like a regular massage, they're like, okay, I've had a massage now, like I can go and run or I can go and train, and they're going to train amazingly. Normally after a massage, I'm like, oh my God, it's the best training session I've ever had. But that's not because, you know, there are some massages where I swear I'm like, I wasn't able to get deep enough to do much for this person. And then they come back the next time and they're just like, I felt amazing. And that's the big nervous system placebo value that I was talking about. And I always want those people to come back in because I want the body to desensitize so that we can truly make some difference for them. But it's just about, for me, like I really want to show people that it is worth dedicating time to servicing themselves. Like we go to the dentist, we take our cars for a service, we do all this different stuff. But I think the value in doing it for yourself, once you start to see results, same as going to the gym. You know, it's tough for the first 4 weeks, and then you're like, oh shit, you know, my love handles have gone down a bit. This is not too bad. Like, oh shit, I'm a bit more flexible now. This feels great. Like whatever it might be.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, because physios can do whatever they can do in the half-an-hour appointments, but if the client goes away and, you know, exacts the same old habits, they're going to come back in and just keep pouring money out. And that's what I try and I'm quite honest with my clients. I'm kind of like, I can do all this, but I can't fix what's going on, you know, so we need to like start building some habits.
Yeah. No, I think that's very important and very key because again, like you can have somebody come back a month later, a week later, and just be on the table the exact same way that they came that first week if they haven't done behind the scenes stuff. I think another question that often might come up is, if you had an athlete, whether it be recreational, weekend warrior, or professional, come in, I think the timing is a bit tricky sometimes. Like we don't always know when to book the appointment. If we have a hard session coming up the next day or recovery, like when do you think athletes need to be placing these things into their routine? Because I think that can be very hard.
Okay, yeah. So I get a lot of runners. Everyone runs now, which is great. So I think if you've got, most races are on a Sunday. If you've got a race coming up, let's say you're doing whatever it is, 2K, 5K, 10K marathon, I would give, because that, and normally I would do, are we talking before an event?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say for that, for example, before an event, of any kind, even like a soccer game, whatever it might be, footy game, anything like that, I'd give the body probably a good 3 days, 3 to 4 full days of after the massage, to just to allow everything to sort of recover. Any soreness is gone from the massage or anything like that. And where it's like that taper week, if we're in prep, I mean, if someone can come in and get a massage every fortnight, they're going to probably yield the best results. With athletes, I try my best to massage them 12 times a year at least, so once a month, at the absolute least. That is probably my benchmark for athletes. And then it typically goes from, a lot of them will start out with a 4-week thing and then they get to like a month later and they're like, oh, it kind of, I wasn't able to get my habits in place. So the soreness or whatever started coming back at week 2. So I was like, all right, cool. Come in a fortnight this time, see how you go. So it's very dependent on who comes through, obviously. But yeah, before any events, I'd be giving it a couple of days before, especially if you're doing dry needling, because different bodies react differently to those needles. But yeah, if you're an athlete, no matter what stage, like weekend warrior, elite, whatever, 4 weeks max for sure. With my professional athletes, I'd probably like to see them probably once a week.
Yeah. It makes a difference. I mean, I say that now. I haven't probably been to a massage for like 6 months and I feel it, but like if you are consistent with it, I think it does make quite a difference, really, for performance, for recovery. And I just think like niggles in general, like I think prevention is key a lot of the times. And I think a lot of the times as an athlete, I can admit I'm this exact same way. I will go see somebody when something comes up instead of like before. And I think that's just the way that a lot of people are. But I think like for the prevention side of things, it can be quite important as well, really.
Yeah, I'd my sort of tagline or whatever it might be is proactive, not reactive. So not reacting to something that's come up. And yeah, most of my clients now who are consistent, like they maybe came in for something, which is great. You came in. That's, it's tough coming into remedial massage. It fucking hurts. So, and then they're like, okay, cool. And then they become consistent, and, some strength training needs to be in there as well if they really want to, if you're an athlete and you want to stay away from injury. But yeah, they come out and maybe the next injury isn't as bad, or they recover quicker because they're getting massaged, whatever it might be, and they're moving more. And I think, another thing is just the mental game. It just like when you get a massage, you're like, yeah, I feel good. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. No, for sure. Are you a planner? Do you plan for the future, or are you somebody that has like a 3-month goal or 6-month goal or whatever it might be? Or are you more so take it week by week? And what do you think your mindset is like with that?
I am a planner, a bit of a loose type of planner because this is all very new to me. So I don't want to underachieve or overdo, because if I overdo, I might not hit that. And it's sort of like that's a mental wrecker a bit. And then if I set myself a goal or whatever it might be in however long and it's undershoots by a mile, then I was like, oh, maybe I could have aimed higher, whatever that might be. So I think typically I try and do probably like a 12 to 24 month type of thing where I want to be, and then I just set that into monthly, weekly. So I kind of break it down. So I've got, I am a planner for sure.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I try and break it down into little steps that progress me towards the bigger 12-month or 24-month goal.
Where do you think your path is headed over the next however long you wanna think of? Where do you think your path is going?
I think that it's definitely staying within allied health for now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually currently looking at trying to get back into university. I was looking at physiotherapy for a bit there. I've been having some conversations with my partner. She's like, I think you can, physio sounds great, but I think you can like look elsewhere as well. We work with a sports physician at my physio clinic. I think his job is awesome. So sports medicine has been a consideration, which is obviously a huge commitment. But like I said, you get one crack at it, so may as well have a go. So yeah, I think definitely within the realm, I see us having a second gym for sure. Having a couple of gyms and running all that, and I'd still be doing massage 100%. I really enjoy it. And just started personal training. I just really like the face-to-face stuff. So I definitely see myself further into the allied health field. Maybe not so much doing as much PT or massage anymore, and really being able to prescribe exercise plans or whatever it might be, or things to help people. But I'm not exactly sure. I don't, with that progression, I'm trying to just go month by month, day by day, to see where it takes me. Because even when you get to uni or whatever, I feel like you really figure it out. You're like, oh no, this is not me. We're going somewhere else. Yeah. So yeah,
that's fair.
Probably it.
Yeah, that's very fair. Where can people find you guys?
So you can find me. You mean social media? Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, Core Remedial.
Okay.
And Form First Studio on Instagram as well. Okay. I think it's formfirst.studio, something like that. Yeah. We also have a website. So Form First on Google. And our podcast is on Spotify and now on YouTube. It's just called the Form First Podcast, just to keep it nice and streamlined. Yeah. I think we've released like 20 episodes or something like that. Yeah. So that's been a really fun experience. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. And that'll be in the show notes. So for you listening, you can definitely check out all of those links. But thank you, Ben, for coming on the
Thank
show.
you so much.
Yeah,
This has been
that's all
great.
right, for sharing your experience and your path. I think it was awesome. And I really appreciate people coming out and being open to being vulnerable. But like I was saying at the beginning, there's no plan really. Like we just kind of go, which I think can be a bit difficult sometimes for a lot of people. But I think you handled it
No, it was
amazingly.
fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Thanks so much.